February 24th, 2022, a day that forever changed Ukraine. Every city and village, every family and business found themselves under the blows of war. The war brought not only physical destruction but also forced society to adapt to a new reality amidst the sounds of explosions and sirens. One of the most critically important industries during the war became the telecommunications infrastructure. Communications transformed into one of the most vital resources for ensuring the effectiveness of military operations. It enabled coordination between units, rapid transmission of orders and information, and control of unmanned aerial vehicles. It also provided assistance in crisis situations. For civilians, communication became a lifeline. It allowed staying connected with loved ones, even if they remained in combat zones or fled abroad. It was the means for remote work, education, and obtaining reliable information amid propaganda and chaos. Telecommunications sector workers realizing they worked in new, dangerous conditions, restoring networks under fire, setting up power sources for nodes, and despite profit losses from fewer clients, kept working for the country. Every day was a battle for connection, as it meant life, safety, and hope for millions of Ukrainians. Our story's heroes are on the front line of Ukraine's battle for communication. An ISP director from Kramatorsk providing connection for the community and soldiers since 2014 under constant shelling. A representative of a distributed internet traffic exchange point, OneEin, uniting main operators to improve internet efficiency, connectivity, reliability, and accessibility. A People's Deputy heads committees on digital transformation, defense, and cybersecurity. Director of Ukraine's top fiber supplier for telecoms and head of the Internet Association of Ukraine, which includes hundreds of electronic operators. He oversees the 1X network, crucial for many telecoms and businesses, and manages central and southern regions, some recently liberated from occupation. These stories are real, not fiction. The advice shared is priceless experience, better heard 100 times than seen once.
Friends, I understand that right now it may seem like the war is far away in Ukraine and that it won't reach you. I get that it might feel like if missiles start flying outside your window and you hear machine gun fire, communication will be the last thing on your mind. But in reality, no, communication will be the first thing you think of because you'll want to know where your loved ones are and what's going on. Connectivity will be the first thing you remember as an operator because it will be your weapon, what you'll use to defend yourself and your country. What challenges will you face in a full-scale war? There are 5 key ones. First, infrastructure destruction. Imagine missiles hitting Warsaw, Katowice, Poznan, destroying vital data centers and comm nodes. What would you do? Picture major highways being cut off. Imagine your network infrastructure shredded by missile shrapnel. You must prepare for infrastructure destruction now. Next up, blackouts. Picture this: Poland in total darkness for hours or days, no power, freezing cold. Challenge number 3, cyber attacks. Less than a year ago, a major mobile operator serving 30 million users was down for a week due to a cyber attack. We call this the telecom Chernobyl. The 4th challenge is resource scarcity. Take a look at your inventory. How much cable, batteries, and other supplies do you have? How long will they last if logistics fail and you can't get new equipment for your network? 5 key points you'll encounter. We'll focus on our bread and butter, on traffic and how to secure your backbone networks and connectivity. If you're located in a regional center, we recommend organizing inclusion in at least 3 key data centers and ensuring communication between these data centers via your network or a rented line, so they're completely independently administered. If you're not located in a regional center, then please organize connections to at least 3 major operators. We recommend taking a map and plotting out the path and routes of your major operators kilometer by kilometer, because we can share numerous case studies, including those from Warsaw and Lviv, when completely independent highways which are distanced around 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers from each other, converged at a single point just about 10 kilometers wide, highly susceptible to damage. As a result, you could be left without communication. Besides geographic distribution and channel redundancy, we suggest having extra capacity to balance traffic. For instance, our network's average traffic is about 2 terabits. However, during emergencies or breaking news, usually negative, traffic to key messengers can hit 1 terabit. We recommend once a month or quarter to conduct network security days and try new providers, traffic exchange points, data centers, and routes. These are basic tips, not complex or expensive. Even if war doesn't reach you, they'll ensure your network's future reliability. In emergencies, you and your clients won't lose connection.
Sadly, Kramatorsk has suffered from Russian aggression since 2014. In 2014, it was occupied from April to July. In 2015, MLR shelling killed and wounded many. On February 24th, dozens of missiles hit Kramatorsk, destroying infrastructure and causing casualties. These attacks continue monthly. Before the invasion, we had 15,000 clients. Evacuation and fighting cost us over 50% of them. Behind me is the Kramatorsk Hotel, a business center where we had a main transmission site. 300 missiles hit nearby, damaging the highway and our equipment. It took over 2 days to fully restore communication. Since February 24th, 2022, we've restored over 400 kilometers of optical trunk and client lines. Regarding the main channels they have experienced, in 2014, we had only 2 independent internet channels. By 2022, anticipating conflict, we had 6. We're currently in an underground shelter. There's almost a meter of reinforced concrete above me in places like this. Now we must move our equipment to protect it from debris and missile strikes. I wish our experience wasn't needed, but war is terrible. I like to advise operators in crises. First, remember to back up everything possible. Have spare sets of all equipment so they have multiple internet channels. Stock up on repair materials. You'll need them when courier services are down. Invest in energy-efficient tech like phone and new energy-saving and power generation technologies. Remember, your staff is key. Management should be on site with them during crises.
Astrocom has been around since 2002, holding a unique position in Ukraine's telecom market, specializing in trunk fiber optic lines. We also maintain fiber optic lines, both our own and those of third-party companies who outsource maintenance to us. The functionality of these lines and our company's work are crucial for almost all telecom companies in Ukraine. Before the war, we analyzed potential risks and developed a program accordingly. The first risk identified was personnel safety, specifically physical safety. With unpredictable missile strikes, explosions, and mine dangers, our employees who travel across the country to repair fiber optic lines are at risk. To address this, we provided tactical medical training for our staff and supplied special first aid kits designed for such emergency situations. For systemic recommendations, first, prepare for war. Second, analyze all risks, assess them, and develop countermeasures for each. Understand costs and responsibilities and try to organize these risk mitigation efforts. No side can solve wartime issues alone. We must focus on effective state-body cooperation. Central government, local authorities, businesses, and sometimes members of society. It's also possible to issue orders from the National Network Management Center that require electronic communications providers to maintain service for a certain number of hours during power outages. These are essentially new standards for new conditions.
I am the head of the linear department of one Axe company in the Kiev region, responsible for the operation of the main and distribution network in this area. We have high-speed transit trunk channels for telecom operators in the center-south direction and a distribution network for businesses and home users. Since the war began, we faced severe issues with the functioning of the main communication lines, which were due to the fact that the regional switching nodes, where major ISPs and mobile operators were located, suffered enemy missile strikes, resulting in the infrastructure being fully or partially destroyed. To ensure network reliability, we decided to relocate and duplicate all main trunk sites. Now I'll share an example. Moving critical equipment to a safer location with low missile strike risk and independent power supply. We're at one of our support sites, a regular building where we've set up passive switching for main channels. All fibers, including backups, are routed here for redundancy in case of main line failures. This covers the main Ukraine Center and Ukraine South routes, handling about 1 terabit per second of traffic. We dug about 10 kilometers of trenches to 2 main comm channels, bypassing existing hubs and building independent sites.
When Parliament began, I joined the Digitalization Committee and Ministry. We revolutionized our country's digital landscape. As full-scale war broke out, I joined the Defense Committee. Cybersecurity and defense became our top priorities. Our first challenge was responding to cyber attacks. Russians tried to disrupt our state's information resources. Now in Parliament, we're improving cybersecurity laws and implementing security policies in state institutions have felt kinetic attacks on our energy infrastructure. Behind me, you see how Ukraine is constantly being filled with generators. Our telecom operators and providers withstood this attack. Some stopped working, but most, especially small and medium businesses, continued operating. Why? Firstly, it's due to the presence of a robust triple redundancy system. Power is supplied via batteries, primary and backup generators. We have multiple redundant terrestrial communication channels and a large number of telecom operators, over 2,000. Thanks to this, I don't recall fixed communications for Ukrainian citizens ever disappearing completely. We could share our cybersecurity experience as we're now adopting a centralized body to shape security policies for state institutions. We're implementing risk-based management and the NIS2 directive, improved by our experience. No country in Europe has faced cyber attacks like ours. Now almost every Ukrainian is fighting. It's tough to maintain electronic communications, but we've reserved key technical staff, specialists, and emergency teams. This keeps digital comms and operators working during the invasion, but our military personnel are dwindling. Sadly, this long war continues. I won't predict, but it may be a matter of time before Ukrainians are depleted and you'll have to defend Europe.
Тоді вам прийдеться захищати Європу.